morning, students. Today we are starting with a very important part of class 12 maths syllabus, that is the calculus portion. And in this calculus portion we shall start with the first lesson, which is actually the fifth lesson of the book, continuity and differentiability. Now this lesson is basically divided into three major portions. The lesson discusses about continuous functions, then it discusses about differentiable functions, and then in the third part it discusses how to find out derivatives of functions or how to differentiate different kinds of functions. So in today's class we shall be dealing with continuous functions. So let us first of all define a continuous function. A function fx is said to be continuous at a point, say C, of its domain if limit of the function when x tends to C is equal to the value of the function at the point C. So if this condition is satisfied, the function is said to be a continuous function. What does limit of a function mean? The limit of a function, basically we have studied limit of functions in class 11, and we have here the left hand limit and the right hand limit. The left hand limit of a function is defined as limit of the function fx when x tends to, say, a point C minus, and the right hand limit is defined as limit of the function when x tends to C plus. So this means that for a function fx, if this line represents the domain of the function at some point C, we can approach the function or the point from the left hand side. If we are approaching C from the left hand side, that means we are able to find out the LHL if it is a finite number. Likewise, when we approach C from the right side, we can obtain the right hand limit of the function. So here C minus C plus indicates approaching C from the left side or the right hand side, and hence the limits are defined as LHL and RHL. So whenever LHL is equal to RHL, when we say these are equal, we basically mean to say that the values are finite. Okay, so when LHL is equal to RHL, that means the limit of the function at the point C exists. So this is how we can find out the limit. So the limit can be, first of all, check that the limit exists. If the limit exists, we can find out the limit directly, or we can find out LHL and RHL. Check that LHL is equal to RHL, then we can say limit exists. The limit exists and it is equal to the value of the function at that point. Then in that case we say that the function is continuous. Let's look into some graphs here. If a function is drawn, say, like this, then you can see here that while drawing the graph, I started from this point, moving down the curve. We can easily go to, say, the last point, the end point. So from the starting point, without lifting the hand, the curve can be drawn. So geometrically, this means that this kind of a function is a continuous function. Let us consider some more examples here. The first function that I have drawn, you must have identified it is a parabola. Then suppose we have this kind of a graph like this. So again, starting from this point, the graph can be easily obtained at this point and can be continued to this point. So this is also graph of the modulus function, and this function is also a continuous function. Some more graphs here. If a graph is drawn, say, somewhat like this, and like this. Then you know, while moving from the left side, say from this point we can go to this point, and then to reach this point we have to lift our hand to this point and then continue. Now since here there is a lifting of a hand, so this is graph of a function which is not continuous. So this is graph of a function which is not continuous. This is graph of a continuous function. This is also graph of a continuous function. Now since you have studied trigonometric functions also, so if we look at say the sine curve goes this way along the positive x-axis and like this along the negative x-axis. So you can see here the graph can once again be drawn without lifting the hand. So this is also graph of a continuous function. Let's draw here the graph of the tan function. So the graph of the tan function is like this, then it goes like this. So you can see here, from here till this point the function is continuous. The graph can be drawn without lifting the hand. Likewise from here the graph can be drawn without lifting the hand. Here we know that the domain of the tan function is basically set of all real numbers except multiples of pi, and the range of the function is the set of all real numbers. Okay, so here you can see that in this interval, say minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, leaving these endpoints, the graph can be drawn without lifting hand. Hence in this open interval the function is continuous. Likewise you can see here the graph from pi by 2 to this point, which is 3 pi by 2, can be drawn without lifting the hand. So at every point of its domain the function is continuous. So these are graphs of some continuous functions. Here is a graph of a function which is not continuous. So coming back to the basic definition here, a function is continuous if the limit of the function at some point is equal to value of the function. Now to find out the limit of a function at any point, we are familiar with some methods. One is the direct substitution method. If the direct substitution method gives us the indeterminate form, then we move on to other methods like factorization is possible, or substitution is possible, or some standard results can be used. These are the results which we have studied in previous classes. So as and when the requirement comes up, we shall be using various methods of evaluating the limits. Now to find out that a function is continuous, we come across basically three kinds of questions. So to check, we can write down here, to check continuity of a function, we may come across three different situations. So one such situation is, we check continuity at a point. Obviously this point belongs to the domain of the function. Okay, so we may check continuity at a point. Second situation, we would like to check continuity of a function in some open interval AB. Obviously this open interval also belongs to the domain of the function. And then in the third situation, we can also check continuity of a function in the closed interval AB. So we have these three kinds of questions. So let us first of all see how would we solve this kind of a question. If we are given a point, now here I'll take an example. Suppose the function is x plus 1, and we know the domain of the function is a set of all real numbers. So let us, this point is already given, so let the point be C. Alright, the point is already given to us, so that point is C. So we will find out here the limit of the function when x tends to C. Here you can see that the function is a polynomial function, hence by direct substitution the limit comes out to be C plus 1. Likewise, the value of the function at the point C, so value can be obtained by replacing x by C, is this. So we see here that the limit of the function and the value of the function at that point are same, so the function is continuous. So that means we have taken a point, check limit at point, find out value of the function at that point. Both these values are equal, function is continuous. If we have a question of this kind where we have to check continuity in an open interval, in that case, from this interval, let's choose an arbitrary point. Suppose that point is C. So let C be a point, a random point in the open interval AB. So now we have got a point C. We will check the continuity of the function at the point C. So I'm referring to the same example here. Fx is x plus 1. So when we find out here the limit of the function when x tends to C, value is C plus 1. The value of the function is also C plus 1. So in that case, the function is continuous at C. At C, that means at a point. Where is this point? This is a point in this interval, and this point represents any point in the interval. So hence we can also write down that the function is continuous in the open interval. Okay, so that means when an open interval is given to us, we choose an arbitrary point. At that point, we check the continuity of the function. If the function is continuous at that point, that means function is continuous in the entire interval. Coming to the third situation, function is continuous in a closed interval. So here, this closed interval is divided into three portions. I'll write down those three portions first. The closed interval AB has a point x is equal to A. It has a point x is equal to B. Both the points are inclusive. And then we have x which belongs to open interval. So that means when we have a closed interval, the situation gets divided into three parts: the lower limit, the upper limit, and then the open interval AB. So here you can see we have got a point. So at this point we can check the continuity of the function, and we can say that function fx is continuous at x is equal to A. Now here I am writing it down directly because I am once again taking the same function fx equal to x plus 1. Likewise, for this limit x is equal to B, here once again we can write down that the function is continuous at the point x is equal to B. So that means we have included the endpoints. Now what is left? The open interval. And for this open interval, what do? We choose a point from the open interval. So repeating the same step of the same process here, we will get to know that the function is continuous in the open interval AB. So that means, once again, let us analyze the situation. It's always easy to check continuity at a point. If an open interval is given, choose a point from the open interval and check continuity. If a closed interval is given, in that case, divide the solution into three parts. Take the lower limit of the interval, upper limit of the interval. That means we have points in these two cases. At these 2 points, check whether function is continuous or not. The remaining part left is the open interval. In this open interval, again going by this process, you choose a point in the open interval and then you check the continuity of the function. At any point, if the limit of a function is not equal to the value of the function, in that case we can say that the function is not continuous at a point, say x is equal to C. We can also say that the function is discontinuous at the point x is equal to C. Now we'll take up some questions from the exercise 5.1 and see how we apply this concept in checking continuity of a function or finding out points of discontinuity. So let's start with some basic questions from exercise 5.1. So I've chosen here first question. Prove that the function fx, which is given as 5x minus 3, is continuous at the point x is equal to 0. So see, a point is already given, so we can easily find out here the limit of the function when x tends to 0. Here you know the function is a polynomial function, so we directly substitute value of x, which is 0, and the value turns out to be -3. Similarly, let us evaluate f of 0. If fx is 5x minus 3, f of 0 would be 5 into 0 minus 3, which is -3. Now since the limit of the function when x tends to 0 is equal to f of 0 and both these values are equal to -3, so we can say that the function is continuous at x is equal to 0. So these are basically 1 mark questions. Then let us try here question number 3. Examine the continuity of the following functions. There is a function which is defined as fx is equal to 1 upon x minus 5. Now for this question, you have to examine the continuity. So where exactly are you examining the continuity? To examine the continuity, you should first of all know the domain of the function. Now the domain of the function is not defined here. Moreover, the point at which the continuity is to be checked is not mentioned. So we will first of all find out the domain of the function. So here, the domain of the function is the set of all real numbers except 5, because if you substitute x equal to 5 here, the function is not defined. So this is the domain. This interval is given to us. Now from this interval, let us choose an arbitrary point C. So C belongs to this, and at this point, let us find out here the limit of the function. This is now a rational function. Once again, by direct substitution, substituting x as c, we obtain this is the limit of the function, and the value of the function at the point c is also the same. The limit and the value is same. Therefore, you can write down that the function is continuous where at the point C, the function is continuous at C, or you can write down that the function is continuous in its domain, and its domain has got infinite real numbers. So at each and every real number, the function is continuous. Then D part of this question, the function defined is the modulus function. Right, here again we are checking continuity of the function. Here once again we are not given the point where the function is to be evaluated or its continuity is to be checked. So because it is a modulus function, we can redefine the function as minus x minus 5 whenever x is less than 5, and it is positive x minus 5 whenever x is greater than equal to 5. So here you can see we have written the basic definition of the modulus function. So on the number line, this number line is the domain of the function, where the domain has been divided into two parts. So whenever x is less than 5, that means in this interval our function is minus x minus 5. Whenever x is greater than 5, the function is defined as positive x minus 5. At the point 5 also, it is defined as positive x minus 5. So in the entire domain, because the function is defined above the point 5, so we will check continuity at 5. So let us find out here the limit of the function when x tends to 5. Now when x tends to 5, here you can see about the point 5, the function is defined in two different ways. So if about a point a function is defined in two different ways, that means we will not find out the limit directly, we will find out the left hand limit, right hand limit. If both are equal, in that case we can say that the limit exists and has a finite value. So let us find out here basics, starting with left hand limit. So writing it down symbolically like this, limit x tends to 5 minus, we will choose which function. 5 minus means less than 5. Whenever x is less than 5, our function is minus x minus 5. Because this is a polynomial function, directly substituting value of x, we get 0. So we get to know that the left hand limit is 0. the right hand limit of the function, which is symbolically written like this: x tends to 5 plus. So when x tends to 5 plus, that means we are approaching x from the right hand side, and at the right hand side the function is defined as positive x minus 5. Now when you substitute, because it's a polynomial function, substitute x as 5, so we get 0. So LHL is equal to RHL, so that means the limit of the function when x tends to 5 exists and is equal to 0. So limit of the function is 0. Then we move on to finding out the value of the function at the point 5. This is the function. So substitute x is equal to 5 and we get equal to 0. Or here also, if you see, x is equal to 5 is this condition, so our function is again positive x minus 5, which still gives us 0. So here, since limit of the function when x tends to 5 is equal to value of the function, that means the function fx is continuous function. Where is it continuous? In its domain, at each point of its domain. So the next question that we will try is question number 7. So next is 7th question. Function is defined like this: modulus of x plus 3 when x is less than equal to minus 3, minus 2x when x is greater than minus 3 and less than 3, and it is equal to 6x plus 2 whenever x is greater than equal to 3. So what are we doing in the question? In this question we are finding out points of discontinuity. So let's look into the domain. Now this is just to explain you that in the domain we have some points like minus 3, plus 3. So whenever x is less than equal to minus 3, less than equal to minus 3, our function is mod x plus 3. If the value is from minus 3 to plus 3, the open interval minus 3 to plus 3, function is defined as minus 2x. The value of function is 3 and more. In that case, function is defined as 6x plus 2. This is just to explain you, not an important or necessary step. The domain defines very clearly 2 points. So that means we shall be checking the continuity of the function at the point minus 3 and at the point x is equal to 3. So let's start here with x is equal to minus 3. So we are checking continuity at x is equal to minus 3. This figure very clearly tells us that approaching minus 3 from left side and minus 3 from the right side gives us 2 different functions. Hence we are going to find out the LHL and the RHL. So starting with LHL, limit of fx when x tends to minus 3 minus. Okay. So let us choose here which function is this, less than minus 3. So it is mod x plus 3. Substitute what is value of x, minus 3. So we get here 3 plus 3, which is equal to 6. LHL is 6. Likewise, let's find out RHL. So limit of fx when x tends to minus 3 plus. So here when x tends to minus 3 positive, that means more than minus 3. So our function is defined as minus 2x. Replace x by minus 3 and we get 6. So you can see LHL and RHL is equal to 6. Therefore, the limit of the function when x tends to minus 3 is 6. Limit we have found. Next, let's find out here value of the function when x is equal to minus 3. Now here you can see from the graph, from this figure or even from here also, at the point minus 3, the function is mod x plus 3. Or if you look into this figure, the function explained this way, whenever x is minus 3, the function is mod x plus 3. So mod x plus 3, which again gives us 6. So we can say that the function fx is continuous at the point x is equal to minus 3. Or if you want, you can also write down that the function is not discontinuous at the point x is equal to minus 3. The other point that we have here is 3. So now let us check here continuity of the function at x is equal to 3. So once again, starting with the left hand limit of the function fx when x tends to 3 minus. That means we are approaching 3 now from the left hand side and our function is minus 2x. So minus 2x. By direct substitution, minus 2, value of x now is 3. So left hand limit is minus 6. RHL, you should always be writing down the formal definitions of LHL and RHL first. This is the formal definition, and now choose which function is this. 3 plus means whenever 3 is, x is more than 3, the function is 6x plus 2. So we have chosen the function 6x plus 2. By direct substitution, we get 6 into 3 plus 2, which is 20. So here you can see that LHL is not equal to RHL. Therefore, the limit of the function when x tends to 3 does not exist. Now the limit does not exist clearly indicates that the function is not continuous. But if you want, you can also find out here the value of the function at the point 3. Once again, coming back to this, whenever x is 3, the function is defined as 6x plus 2, which is 20. The limit does not exist, therefore the function is not continuous at the point x is equal to 3, or you can write down that the function is discontinuous at x is equal to 3. So in this question, we have seen that the domain of the function was defined about 2 points, minus 3 and plus 3. So at each of these points, we checked the continuity and we found that the function is continuous at x is equal to minus 3 and it is not continuous at x is equal to positive 3. So next is question number 8. Here the function is defined as mod of x whenever x is not equal to 0, and it is defined as 0 if x is equal to 0. So we are finding out here points of discontinuity. Points of discontinuity, look into the domain. Here it is mentioned x is not equal to 0. If x is not equal to 0, this means that either x is greater than 0 or x is less than 0. That's what it means. And here is a modulus function. So we can redefine the function. Let us start with this. Whenever x is greater than 0, we know by definition mod x is basically x. The question is mod x upon x. Okay, so here it is this which turns out to be 1. If we take x less than 0, then in that case, you know, mod x will become minus x upon x and the function acquires a constant value minus 1. And whenever x is equal to 0, the function is equal to 0. So the domain of the function has been defined about the point 0. So let me write down here something. This is the domain about the point 0. Whenever x is greater than 0, the function is 1. Whenever the function is less than 0, the value of x is less than 0, the function is minus 1. And at x is equal to 0, the function is also 0. Okay, so that means we have a point 0 in the domain. So we will check the continuity of the function at x is equal to 0. Continuity at x is equal to 0. The left hand limit of the function when x tends to 0 minus. That means approaching the point 0 from the left hand side, function is a constant value -1, hence we can straight away write down that LHL is -1. Likewise, the RHL is limit of fx when x tends to 0 plus. 0 plus means approaching 0 from the right side. At this point, the function is again a constant, hence the right hand limit can be taken to be as 1. Here you can see LHL and RHL are again not equal, so the limit of the function does not exist. The limit of the function when x tends to 0 does not exist. Moreover, we find out that the value of the function at the point x equal to 0 is 0. The limit does not exist, so that means x is equal to 0 is a point of discontinuity of the function fx, or we can say that the function fx is discontinuous at the point x is equal to 0. So after this, we are going to try out question number 14. So here the function is defined as 3 if x is greater than equal to 0 and less than equal to 1. Function is defined as 4 when x is greater than 1, less than 3, and it is equal to 5 if x is greater than equal to 3, less than equal to 10. So what are we finding out here? We are discussing the continuity of the function. Now look at the domain of the function. Now the domain of the function specifies some points 0, 1, 3 and 10. So there are 4 points defined in the domain, and we will check continuity of the function at each of these points. What is special about the points? Whenever x is greater than equal to 0, greater than equal to 0 and between 1, that means greater than 0 and this is the interval, the function acquires a constant value 3. Greater than 1, less than 3. So here it is, in this case function has a value 4, and including 3, including 10 and this interval, the function acquires a value 5. So you can see here the function is not defined beyond 10. The function is not defined for values of x less than 0. So when we check at continuity at 0, let's start here with continuity at x is equal to 0. See here the function is defined at the point 0. It is defined at all points greater than 0. So that means we are going to find out only the RHL. The LHL in this case cannot be found. So we'll straight away find out the RHL of the function. Limit of fx when x tends to 0 plus. Greater than 0, the function is a constant. So we can straight away write down RHL is 3. That means the limit of the function is 3. Likewise, the value of the function at the point 0, at 0 the value of the function is again 3. So you can see here the limit is equal to the value of the function. So we can say that the function is continuous at the point x is equal to 0. So this is one part of the question. Then you move on to the next part, which is 1. We will check here continuity at x is equal to 1. X is equal to 1, you can see you will approach 1 from the left side and 1 from the right hand side as well. So we will find out here the left hand limit and the right hand limit. The left hand limit of the function less than 1, it is a constant function, so left hand limit is 3. Likewise, the right hand limit of the function when x tends to 1 plus, greater than 1, function is a constant and its value is 4. Left hand limit is 3, right hand limit is 4, so that means the limit of the function when x tends to 1 does not exist. Limit does not exist, this clearly indicates that the function fx is discontinuous at the point x is equal to 1. Now in a similar manner, you can check whether the function is continuous at 3 or not, and similarly whether the function is continuous at 10 or not. So the process would be the same. So next we are taking up here question 17. A function is defined as ax plus 1 when x is less than equal to 3. It is defined as bx plus 3 whenever x is greater than 3. We are given here that the function is continuous at x is equal to 3. So what are we finding out in the question? We are finding out here the relationship between a and b. This is what we are finding out. So let's start with the question. Now the basic thing we are given here is that the function is continuous at x is equal to 3. Since fx is continuous at x is equal to 3, therefore the left hand limit at x equal to 3 should be equal to the right hand limit at x equal to 3, and this should be equal to the value of the function at the point 3. Okay, so let us find out here LHL. LHL, that means limit of the function when x tends to 3 minus less than 3. This is our function. So by direct substitution, x is 3 and left hand limit turns out to be 3a plus 1. Then right hand limit, the limit of the function when x tends to 3 plus greater than 3. This is the function. Once again, directly substituting x as 3. The value is 3b plus 3. Since we know that left hand limit will be equal to the right hand limit, therefore 3a plus 1 will be equal to 3b plus 3, which can be written as 3a minus 3b, or 3a is equal to 3b plus 2. A can be written as b plus 2 by 3. So this is how we define relation between A and B. Okay, next we will try here question number 18. Function fx is defined as lambda times x square minus 2x if x is less than equal to 0, and it is defined as 4x plus 1 when x is greater than 0. We are given that the function is continuous at x is equal to 0. So there are two parts of the question. First part, function is continuous at x is equal to 0, and we have to find out here value of lambda. That's the first part of the question. So let's again see here. Since the function fx is continuous at x is equal to 0, therefore the left hand limit at x equal to 0 should be equal to right hand limit at x equal to 0, and this should be equal to the value of function at 0. So let's start here with left hand limit. Left hand limit, limit of fx when x tends to 0 minus. So here you can see less than 0. Less than 0, our function is this, lambda times x square minus 2 into 0. So this I'll write down as lambda into 0. Okay. Then right hand limit, limit of fx when x tends to 0 plus greater than 0. Greater than 0, this is our function. So by direct substitution, 4 into 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1. And the value of the function will also be same value here. So since LHL has to be equal to RHL, if we compare, we get lambda into 0 is equal to 1. Now since we are dealing with real numbers, so we know lambda can acquire real values only. So suppose, because here lambda can be any real number and any real number multiplied by 0 will never be equal to 1. So here we can write down that lambda has no value for which lambda into 0 will be equal to 1. That means lambda has no real value. You're basically dealing with real numbers. It has no real value which will satisfy this condition. So although the function is continuous, but for the function to be continuous, there is no real value of lambda. So now let's move on to the second part of the question. Now the second part of the question says that the same function fx is continuous at x is equal to 1. Now in this case, find out lambda. So here we need to know where exactly is x is equal to 1. So for that function, I'll just draw a number line representing all real numbers. The domain is defined about the point 0. So whenever x is greater than 0, function is defined as 4x plus 1 less than or equal to 0. The function is defined as lambda x squared minus 2x. We are given here that function is continuous at x equal to 1. So where is x equal to 1? On the right side of 0. Say this is the point 1. So whenever you approach 1 from the left side, function is 4x plus 1. If you approach 1 from the right hand side, the function is still the same. That means in this case we don't find out LHL, RHL. We can straight away find out here the limit of the function when x tends to 1. Which function is this? 4x plus 1. So by direct substitution, we get here limit of the function as 5. And limit of function is 5 and the value of the function at this point is also equal to 5. This was already mentioned to us, function is continuous. The limit is same as the value of the function. So now how do we find out lambda? Where is lambda in this picture? Lambda is nowhere in the picture, but lambda has been defined here for all values less than 0. So function is continuous at x is equal to 1 and lambda can be any real value. Lambda is any real value for fx to be continuous at x is equal to 1. For any value of x which is greater than 0, whether it is 1, 2, 3 or any other real number greater than 0, lambda can be any real number. So next we will discuss 19th question. Function is defined as gx, which is equal to x minus greatest integer function x, and here we have to show that this is discontinuous for all integral values. Okay, now it is discontinuous for all integral values, so let us choose one integral value and that value is suppose c. Let c belong to the set of integers. Okay, we have to show that it is discontinuous. So let us find out here the LHL. The limit of the function gx when x tends to c minus. This is our main function. So substitute values here. X is c and this is also c. So how do we evaluate this? Now this is what I'm going to explain with an example. Suppose the point c is equal to 1, right? So if the point c is equal to 1, an integral value, then what is the greatest integer value of 1? It is 1. What are we saying here? X is approaching the point c from the left hand side. That means values which are less than 1. So less than 1, I'll take a closer value, say 0.9. And for this, the greatest integer function is 0. So if the point is c, what are we getting a value? 1 less than c. So that means here, this greatest integer function should be equal to c minus 1. When you simplify, you get here the left hand limit equal to 1. Now let us explore and find out the right hand limit. Limit of the function gx when x tends to c plus. So here again the expression looks like same, but what is important to note is that now we are approaching the point from the right hand side. That means our point is 1. This is the point 1. Now whenever it is less than 1, that is the case we have seen. Now we are approaching 1 from the right hand side. That means the values of x's are more than 1. Suppose the value is 1.1. In that case the value is of the greatest integer function is 1. That means the point is 1, the value is also equal to 1. So here the greatest integer function will acquire value c, and this is equal to 0. So the LHL is not equal to RHL. So since LHL is not equal to RHL, therefore the limit of the function gx when x tends to some integral value does not exist. So this means that the function gx is not continuous or is discontinuous at c, which belongs to the set of integers. That means for all integral values the function gx is discontinuous.